Let's just play a little jazz. Come on. You know, for me, the action is the chess. Feet from heels. Feet from heels. I just want to talk to you those cool guys. Cool
Hello, welcome to Framework. I am Al Schwartz. With me, as always, is John Bernard.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
It's all right. What are we talking about today?
Man's man.
Michael's Man.
Yeah.
The influences and ripoffs of Michael Mann's signature style.
I'm going to coin a phrase. We're going to call it the manosphere.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the manosphere with two ends. I would say with this one, now this is like the sixth of these, I guess we've done something like that with
Right.
the directors we covered, like just looking at their influences and ripoffs. I would say after Tarantino, the manosphere is the biggest and broadest library of these. There feel of movies that feel directly indebted. We had to reach a little bit to figure out who was ripping off Cameron, and because his thing is just so synonymous with blockbusters generally. But Mann is a more specific flavor, and it's a popular one to rip off.
Yes. I mean, I think as you'll find with maybe with Carpenter, there is a specific Michael Mann film that gets name checked quite often. And then the rest of his
That
films
being
kind of.
Heat.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's the rest, which are of a similar flavor and tenure. But, I would say if you're referencing Heat, that's a little less interesting to me than if you're referencing Thief. But I guess you can make great movies out of either of them, to be honest.
Well, that's the other thing I'll say. Definitely, so far for all these, the movies I watched for this episode have been the best. I think the Manosphere ripoffs have the highest batting average of any of the other directors that we've talked about. I
had the same thought.
I avoided the big stinkers in the way that, man, there were some bad Nolan ripoffs in there, and some of the Tarantino knockoffs in the 90s could be pretty dire.
Yeah, I would say that almost everything I watched for this I enjoyed on one level or another, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a fruitful filmmaker to emulate and be inspired by, for certain. There's stuff he does that if you can emulate that correctly, you're in good shape. You're in a good position, and a lot of that is, obvious stuff like, interesting photography, really effective sound effects editing, intriguing and cool character studies too is something I was paying attention to, like finding these man's men characters. What we talked about when we were doing the series a lot was what is a Michael Mann man? We never found a really more elegant way to say that, did we?
Not really. But they are
the man protagonist,
a consummate professional who was kind of doomed.
Lives by a code.
Yeah, not a fully blown, explicit ghost dog way of the samurai Bushido code, but they have their personal standards that they refuse to bend, and when they do bend it, that's when they invite disaster upon themselves. But yes, they are rigorous in that both their work ethic and their ethics, even if they're not perhaps traditional Judeo-Christian morals. They have their standards that they refuse to compromise.
Before we get really into this, should we probably just dispense with the Dark Knight right away, right? Just mention it up front and be like, yes, it's referencing Heat. It's a similar movie to Heat in many ways. It's similar to many other films as well, but yes, famously, the Dark Knight takes a great amount of inspiration from Heat, and it's.
I guess I've always found that kind of overblown. That I think, especially when you lift the hood even slightly, I see a lot more of Seven than Heat in its construction, and how it does its characters. I mean, I
think
suppose
visually, I think it looks quite a bit like
Right.
it, especially for a superhero film. Yeah,
I guess that was the thing about it. It's a superhero movie that is shot more like a crime movie, is what people say
Right.
about it. But it also kind of redefined superhero cinema so much that that became less true over time.
sure, yeah, that's correct. But even still, it stands alone on it a bit. You know, it's not the direction the genre went in, really. Even the stuff that was explicitly aping it, like, you know, the Snyderverse was supposed to sort of conjure the feelings of Dark Knight, and it didn't really.
Well, Zack Snyder is a fetishist about images, so I'm sure he likes the way that Michael Mann stuff looks, but he is not rigorous
No.
in his philosophy or his storytelling instincts. He is not
A haphazard.
He's more
one might say.
of a sloppy boy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I there is also that Heat, like The Dark Knight, is kind of about two sides of the same coin, protagonist, antagonist. You know, they're oppositional forces in a way. They're a bit representational, even as they're specific. Yeah, there's things, obviously, but
I guess when I think of The Dark Knight, it's a three-headed beast to me. It's less of a two-hander. They are it's sort of a two-hander, and they're fighting over Harvey Dent, but that puts it more in the Seven mold to me. It's two versions of the good guy, and then the bad guy that is challenging them and corrupting them.
all right. So let's move on from that. And I think that's likely the last time superheroes will be mentioned in this episode.
We'll see about that.
All right.
No, you know what? I say it won't be. Maybe a good place to start that is Drive.
Okay.
Nicholas Winding Refn's sort of American breakout put Ryan Gosling. I guess he was already a star, but I think it minted him.
Yes.
I don't know that it made a ton of money, but it gave him credibility.
He's cool in it.
terms of box office and with critics.
Yeah, he's legitimately feels like a movie star in that movie, and a large part of that is the design work, top to bottom. You know, I mean that jacket, of course, but not just that. It's like the sound design of that film, the aesthetic of it, and yes, it definitely follows a lot of things from Heat, or not Heat, excuse me, Thief. It follows a lot of cues from Thief. Albert Brooks is doing the bad guy from Thief, essentially, in that movie. And I mean, I don't know that it's certainly not 1-to-1. Like, there's as much Scorsese in there as there is Michael Mann.
Oh, but I think the way you hit the nail on it, though, it is just doing the story of Thief.
Right.
It's, his area of expertise is driving cars instead of cracking safes. But the relationship with the villain, the whole trajectory of the movie is just a complete retread of Thief, which you can do because Thief's one of the great crime movie templates, And I ain't saying it invented that, but it's my sort of hallmark or my touchstone for it.
The soundscape of the movie, too, also feels very Tangerine Dream to me.
Yeah, the Cliff Martinez scoring was a lot to Tangerine Dream, and I'd say a little bit of Carpenter, too, to tie it into one of our other guys. But
yeah.
And the sort of neon look of L.A. at night and the wet streets, they owe a great visual debt to Miami Vice and to Thief.
Yes.
One thing I think when we were mentioning Thief about this earlier, you were kind of referring to it as a 70s movie, in spirit, if not in calendar.
Well, it's 81. It's like right at the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s. Shot probably, right on the cusp. Right. They're making the film out of the 70s, essentially. Those first 2 years of any decade are still kind of getting out of the previous decade most of the time.
Yes, you can certainly say that. Yeah, that the 90s don't really start until 91, and the 2000s don't start until September 11th. Really, yeah. And there's I don't know what the line of demarcation is with the 80s, but Thief is certainly conceived and made prior to tipping over, and then Miami Vice, the TV show, is, definitional to what the 80s look and sound like. And that, I think, is... So that's the thing we always talk about with these is, usually when there's a ripoff, they're ripping off one particular flavor or one particular movie more than their whole thing, because Michael Mann does do other stuff. And there might be movies that are taking more cues from his approach to Ali or Ferrari, and saying, "Oh, this is a
Sure.
a great man biopic that sort of takes out a smaller slice of their life, and also starts like after they're already on top. It doesn't really do a rise to power thing with them. It's about them teetering when they've already conquered the world, more or less, their little world at least. But Michael Mann does not own and define the biopic space the way he does crime movies of the
Right.
20 and 21st century.
I mean, what are the ones? I guess it's. Thief and Heat are obviously kind of the biggest touchstones, but I mean, I throw Manhunter in there as well. Just in the 80s kind of definitional photography and music and just fashion essentially. And I guess Miami Vice is inextricable. Yeah, it's all part of a thing.
Yeah, that's the Miami Vice TV show. It is That's what Manhunter looks like, and that's it became kind of a punchline after a certain point, but it's still pretty cool, actually, I find. And Drive really brought it back and made it look very, very cool.
Well, I mean, it went out of fashion essentially because new fashion came in, but now you can reclaim it and really champion it as a very good aesthetic when it's handled correctly, as it is in Michael Mann films. I mean, you can even point at something like Grand Theft Auto Vice City as emulating that. I mean, it's doing Scarface, it's doing a lot of things, but Miami Vice.
They called it Vice City, knowingly.
They knew what they were doing. All right.
Yeah, so the main or the secondary character in that game is voiced by the guy who played Tubbs on the show. So,
right.
Very, very conscious with that. I would say Drive is very close to Mann spiritually because the driver is pretty close to a Mann protagonist that we're talking about. He's not able to articulate his motivations as directly as real Mann's men can.
Right.
He can't articulate them at all. He's basically nonverbal.
Yeah, he's almost like some version of movie autistic or something like that. And that places him a little bit on the there's a little Travis Bickle to him as well, which is that.
Yeah, well, but what makes him, I think, closer to a Mann's protagonist than a Travis Bickle is that he is a criminal savant.
Right.
And he's drawn out of this loner sort of aesthetic lifestyle by a romantic impulse that he doesn't seem to understand, and destroys himself by allowing the sentimentality to compromise the criminal detachment. That's all very like Thief. That's Neil McCauley's arc in Heat as well.
Okay, I was thinking about this, and there's a little bit like, is it a decision to fall in love? Is it the sort of thing that we've noted Mann protagonists doing, where they're just like, okay, this is what a proper man does at this point. He puts a ring on it or whatever. Like, it's a little different in Drive, and that's why I can see the lineage there in that kind of decision making, but it is its own thing, which is usually the way to make these things stand on their own and feel, a little less like ripoffs and more like inspired bys. When they're able to kind of riff on the idea a little bit. And I think you see that a lot in the Mann films.
Splitting hairs a little bit, which I'm sure we did in the Mann series. But the deciding to fall in love aspect of it, I don't know, something about that phrasing makes it sound like it's insincere or something on their part. I don't think that they decide to fall in love. I think the thing about them is they recognize, once they start feeling love, they recognize what it is, and they are whole ass about it. They're like, okay, this is, because that's the way they approach their work too. They put everything into it and they drive directly at the thing. So once it could be the first date and you're like, oh, I like you, therefore our lives are now permanently enmeshed, and I'm not going to, there's no half-assing anything in a Michael Mann movie unless you're a bad guy.
Well, there's gradations here. I would say that's certainly more true of Neil McCauley than James Caan in Thief, who is who kind of is kind of a piece of shit in that relationship in most regards. It does feel like that, like, it's not really they're not in love, I think, is sort of the actual take we had we were talking about the movie, but there's room for that for a lot of different ways of defining what that means. Within there's just sort of a common ground in that it does seem an intellectual decision as much as a hormonal one.
Yeah, and I do take your point, like that with Drive, the romanticism of it does feel a little more authentically romantic, maybe because he can't articulate it at all, and it's a little over articulated for Mann's guys. But that's it's longing looks in slow motion a lot of the time, and that is sort of traditional movie romanticism, I guess, more than Michael Mann's thing.
And I think just Ryan Gosling in general tends to be a bit more sensual performer than James Caan, perhaps.
He can smolder in a way that, nobody's going to cast James Caan in Wuthering Heights.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah. Although, I'd be interested. I don't know. He's dead now. I suppose not anymore. Yeah. But anyway, it's just also kind of a virtuoso action movie. Which,
it's great.
I mean, I don't know how much of that is like, well, that's the inspiration of Mann, that they decided to make the action scenes really good. But it is tactile and kind of grounded in a way that remains thrilling. It's shot very creatively, and, there's more of an artistic streak to it than your typical Michael Mann film, but just sort of in that there's a bit of a dream quality to the visuals.
Yes. And I guess like there's a little bit of that with Manhunter maybe, and even Miami, like the Miami Vice movie tilts in that direction a little bit, but you're right. It's more like embracing, I guess, the not the artist exactly, but it's an oil painting as opposed to photography, which is what Mann works in. It is also, it's interesting that Mann, we talk about how great his action sequences are. When I think of his action sequences, it's pretty much all gunfights, and Drive is more about car chases and pursuits. I mean, that opening or
hammer
heist
attacks.
getaway
There's
Drive.
some shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the hammer. The hallway scene from Oldboy. It's not drawn out. It's it's pretty fast and punchy when the violence happens. I think the car scenes are the bravura action stuff I would refer to.
Yeah.
And
I
guess
scene
Mann
really
gets there with Ferrari finally. But
yeah. He's not opposed to it. I mean, guns just seem to be the part and parcel with the stories he's telling more than I don't know. You could imagine a Miami Vice with a speedboat chase. It doesn't really happen. He's much more interested in gunfights, I suppose. So maybe not. Even still,
like I said, Ferrari gets there.
Yeah,
but
Ferrari.
You mentioned that elevator scene in Drive, very memorable, but it's not like a big action scene. He just beats the guy to death. Like there's no, he doesn't hit back or anything.
Right. But it's a oneer. It's an interesting, it's got some stuff.
It's very interestingly, presented. But it's not what I would call an action sequence.
Now, Bryan Cranston in that movie strikes me as an incredibly Michael Mann-ish character. I mean, I don't think there's an obvious corollary there. I mean, I guess Willie Nelson in Thief, but not really, it's kind of its own thing, but it feels very Mannish nonetheless to me.
I would disagree because he's such a loser.
That's kind of true.
He's a little half-assed in his approach to the criminal lifestyle or whatever, and Mann's guys commit to it.
It's a great performance. Maybe I'm just conflating.
Oh, it is. And Albert Brooks' great performance, too.
Well, Albert Brooks is straight up doing...
Prosky.
So... but yeah, he is great in that. He's an enormous amount of... It's so fun to see Albert Brooks in that movie. Remember, that was one of my big takeaways at the time, and I kind of forgot. He should have been Oscar nominated, if I recall, and that was the whole thing. And then revisiting it, I was like, oh, shit, yeah. Brooks is...
He really should have.
Is straight up threatening and scary in this, which is unbelievable. He's, made his career on not being that, essentially.
Yeah.
Even when he does crime films, out of sight, the point of him is that he doesn't have that in his arsenal.
Right. That's what's I love about that performance is the decision for him to have absolutely no enthusiasm for his villainy. He's like, oh, God damn it. I hate this part of it. And but that makes him scarier because he's doesn't make him hesitant about doing the things.
And Perlman is sort of a great sloppy man antagonist as well.
Yes. Oh yeah. He and Waingro would get along. You feel like.
Yeah.
Drive, great movie. We both like that one.
Mm-hmm. While we're talking about the 80s, maybe we should do To Live and Die in L.A.
Okay.
The most 80s of movies.
Yes, the most 80s movies. This is one that if you covered up the credits, you could buy it, I think, completely as a Michael Mann movie.
Yeah, so much so that I'm almost like, this can't actually be inspired by him, per se, because they're contemporary. But I mean, it clearly is playing in the many of the things that are established in Miami Vice, and I suppose Thief, but mostly just that Vice City thing we were talking about the most ever in a movie. Maybe like it almost feels like a parody, and then it gets so weird that it can't be. You know, like the first act, maybe you feel like, oh, is this like a joke? Is this like a kind of a silly, dumb film? And then it's just so weird in its structure and its characters that it can't be. It's too unique.
Yes, and it's bracing in how unheroic its heroes are.
No shit.
I mean, the Defoe like villain performance could be a Michael Mann villain, like because he takes such pride in the artistry of his work, and he does it. At the top, he's the top of his game.
He's the one, actually. I think he might actually be the protagonist of the film structurally. And in part, maybe it's because I was looking at it through a Michael Mann lens at this point, because the cops are a fucking mess. They're I mean, the William Peterson obviously has it's my Manhunter's William Peterson in the ostensible lead role, but that guy's Michael Mann would not have respect for that character.
No, that's the only like difference is that, I mean, it's got its finger on some of the same stuff the Vincent Hanna character does, which is these hard charging cops are not like purely motivated by the public good or anything. But Vincent Hanna is more than Chance or whatever this guy's name was, Peterson.
I don't recall.
This because Peterson's playing a guy who ultimately is a real scumbag. In a way that Hannah, tough guy to be married to, but he's not corrupt. He's not, like
everything he does is to a purpose.
Yes, he's not putting anybody in danger but like he's to satisfy his own urges. The way that Peter,
he's literally corrupt, right? Like in To Live or Die.
Oh yeah,
he's
yes.
He is pretty much. I mean, they gray the line between good and bad completely, and yeah, they set up to kind of murder a guy on accident there in the surprising third act of this film, but they still do it. Like they're still bad guys over that. And I love that they kill another undercover cop. Yeah, and I love that there's an ongoing thing after that his partner is debating whether to turn evidence on him for the rest of it's. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to give too much of this film away because it is surprising in its narrative, and I don't think it's that seen these days because it kind of lacks that central star performance that would define it in a way. Unless you want to call it Defoe, who's amazing in the film as the villain, but it's. I mean, Defoe tends to just kind of steal movies from, especially in this era. He's so even just his face. He just looks like no one else when he steps on screen. And this is like young, like 30-year-old Defoe, where he's just a sexual being, top to bottom, but it's malevolent. And yeah, it's also, I mean, it's a really cool plot. It's a really cool, like he's a counterfeiter, which is not the kind of character you usually see as the villain in these sort of movies, but they do a hell of a job with it. And I really appreciate seeing the minutia and the skill and craft that go into counterfeiting, which is very Michael Mann as well. That's what Michael Mann would appreciate too. I'm sure he loves that movie. That's got to. You're right. That's a shame if it's underseen. It should be more heavily thought of. I hadn't seen it until we took this up. I mean, I'd kind of been aware that it had a reputation for being good, and this was my first time with it, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Cool ass movie, and so different. Just not at all what you're used to seeing. Now that I think about it, I guess it's kind of iconic in film geek circles
as it's known as one of the great car chases being in.
Right.
And then maybe it's a little like the 80s version of the French Connection, is that people will reference that car chase a lot, but not necessarily the rest of the movie around it. It's surprising to me that it's not famous. That it's not more famous for the third act stuff. That the ending of that movie is wild.
Very.
We don't want to spoil it.
Right. Cool though. It's really good, and like you said, that it could pass as an actual Michael Mann film for certain.
Yeah. The other 80s movie that I had tried out for the first time for this project and on our friend Chris's recommendation was Black Rain. Michael Douglas Goes to Japan movie.
The neon in the rain part of that movie I remember being very very Michael Mann. It's a Ridley Scott film, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I did not rewatch it for this. I have seen it. How does that translate? I mean, as a Mann film, I think it's a pretty good action movie. The Michael Douglas 80s variety, but is there common Michael Mann?
It's a fine action movie. It's visually, that's what it is. And that's what a lot of when people are talking about this, that's usually what we're talking about.
It's not a bad thing to emulate,
trying to look at it from the thematic angle a little more, just as a differentiation point, maybe. But I think the way it doesn't seem like as much of a Mann movie is because Michael Douglas's character sucks. He's basically a shitty guy, and he's not like a great cop, really.
No, he's kind of a mess. Is he corrupt too, a little bit?
Well, that's the thing the movie plays with is that he's under investigation from the start, and there's and it's sort of teased out slowly what the real backstory is there, and it turns out like, yes, he's corrupt. I mean, the other guy,
it's like kind
of
corrupt.
Not corrupt in that they're being bought off by criminals. It's more in they'll plant evidence and they'll take some money for themselves.
It's not good either.
No, it's not good either. But I think audiences view it differently, and particularly in the 80s, this is like a number one example of the 80s cop who plays by his own rules and gets the job done. Except he's not that good at getting the job done. That's what makes him more than the corruption. Actually, it's just that he's not really like the best detective around. But that's sort of what the arc of the character, what works about it, and that the most memorable thing about the movie to me is this like smash cut resolution to his.
Yes, that is
his final showdown with the bad guy. But that's again what separates him from Mann. His characters are awesome at what they do and are strictly principled. And Nick Conway, as played by Michael Douglas, is not strictly principled, and not the best of what he does. He can drive a motorcycle, he can fist fight, okay, but
right. I remember a lot of fashion in that film, a lot of style to it. I mean, like to the point of absurdity, like so the windblown mullet, sunglasses at night, leather jackets in the rain, a lot of shit like that.
Pretty good performance too from Andy Garcia in that movie, giving off the biggest dead meat energy you're ever gonna see. He's just so nice, and everybody loves him so much. Like, oh man, they're gonna kill the shit out of this guy. And guess what they do with motorcycles and katanas?
To Live or Die in LA's got one of those guys too. Like Peterson's partner at the beginning of the movie is just like, oh man, I can't wait to retire next week. Oh yeah. I'm going to go check this thing up on my own. You don't bother with yourself, I mean,
that's but that's all in the open. Yeah, it's McVeigh stuff, but it's all confined to the opening vignette here. Garcia gets an hour before he gets sliced up in that movie.
I don't think Mann ever did that, right? I mean, I guess the closest you could come would be James Belushi in Thief.
Yeah.
But he's not a cop, he's another criminal.
Danny Trejo takes a loss in Heat, but he's the least defined of the crew. Mm-hmm. And it's Danny Trejo. We kind of love him now. That character is not somebody we had built up great affection for.
No, nor do we really care that Ted Levine's Bosco takes the loss, even if it's it's an archetypal thing, but there's just so many cops in that film.
Well, neither character really dwells on that as their like burning motivation for this movie. They were already plenty motivated.
And no one's, 10 days to retirement, like the last action hero joke or whatever. But it does feel part and parcel with this era of action crime film.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the closest to it is Collateral, but I think it's executed so well there. That
I don't even think of it in those terms, but yes.
Genuinely shocking, yeah. Yeah, because there's definitely no 10 days of retirement crap.
Yeah, well, that one's actually shocking. I mean, the whole gag on these is how predictable it is. And that one
exactly.
isn't. Yeah.
Black Rain is an okay movie. I probably liked it the least of any of the ones that I watched for this exercise. Give or take Den of Thieves 2, Pantera.
All right. Yeah. Well, these are more of the modern ones here. Should we jump right to that? Maybe we can bounce around. That's fine.
Well, let's see. Yeah. I think that's really all I have from the 80s proper. Do you have more?
Not from the 80s, no. But there's 90s stuff.
Yeah. Well, I only have one from the 90s, but it's also one of the better ones. We can hang on. We can pocket that one briefly. Did you ever watch the first Den of Thieves?
Yeah, I watched Den of Thieves. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that, I mean, the heatness of that movie.
It's dirtbag heat, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, what if everybody in Heat was just a dirtbag? That's the thing. I mean, so I guess that maybe this is becoming a theme, is that a lot of people in ripping off Michael Mann, they do dirty cops. They dirty up the Vincent Hanna figure, perhaps. And that's not Mann's thing.
A bit, yeah. I mean, Gerard Butler, they go out of their way to be like, he has a really good scene in Den of Thieves where he says, hey, what you don't understand is we're the bad guys here. And that's like, it's fun, kind of meta moment for the thing. But they're basically the good guys, right? I mean, they're not explicitly corrupt. They're more of the bend the law kind of thing. That movie, much like Heat, is kind of doing both sides of this, have rooting interest for the audience, I suppose.
Yes, but unlike Heat, well, it feels like Heat on the criminal side because they are really high-end bank robbers,
and they're principled.
But yeah, Gerard Butler is definitely a slobby boy, and
he's very
good
about
though. Corruption. He's
good at his job, is my impression. Or we're meant to certainly believe that. He certainly has the presence of Vincent Hanna. I think he's really good in this, actually.
Well,
this is one of the more...
I think yes. It's a good performance.
Entertaining performances I've seen him give ever, maybe. I'm not as taken with the film itself, but Butler in it was, I thought, terrific.
I really liked Pablo Schreiber as the bad, the De Niro figure, I guess.
Yeah, he's, a little bit like, overtaxed to be, I think, the head of that organization. I don't know. He's good.
But is he as the head? I mean, well, so the thing about Den of Thieves, is that it is for 2 hours. It's like, oops, all dirtbags, Heat, right? And then at the end, I don't know if it like loses confidence in just being a Heat ripoff because it sort of zags into, I mean, spoilers, trying to rip off the usual suspects.
As directly as I've ever seen anyone do that, actually.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the structure. That was there from the beginning, though. Like, this has always been, that is the purpose of the script and many of the choices the script makes to set that up.
I guess. I mean, not the way it is. The usual suspects is entirely built, I mean, a framing device around it to pull that off.
I mean, the way this character, are we spoiling Den of Thieves? I mean, we kind of did.
Sure.
It's Ice Cube's son, is Kaiser Soze in this film. And they have set him up as sort of the low man on the totem pole throughout, much in the verbal Kint way. He's the one they pull off and pressure in the hotel room, which is a very good scene. And it's all structurally building to the reveal that he was the mastermind the whole time. And to a hilarious epilogue where he has a British accent and he's starting again in England.
Yes, it's very much nonsense. And I kind of like, this is a weird backhanded compliment. It's great. Like, the movie up till then has been perfectly entertaining and I had a good time with it. But crucially, it was not quite good enough for me to get pissed off at this stupid twist ruining anything.
That is a good way of putting it. Yes.
I also, I'm going to get on my calculator here, but I just want you to go on a journey with me. This is such a perfect encapsulation for me of the intelligence level this movie is working at, which Michael Mann movies operate at a higher level of intelligence than their genres require them to. That's their hallmark.
This one's a little under average, I would say, intelligence-wise. Just a little.
The opening scroll of this movie lays out perfectly
Oh, yeah.
what it's for. So
Yeah.
it says 2,400 times a year, 44 times a week, 9 times a day, every 48 minutes, a bank is robbed here. So I'm calculator out. 2,400 times a year divided by 52 years would be 46 and change times a week, not 44. 44 times a week divided by 7 days would be 6.2 times a day, not 9 times a day. So that doesn't work either. Not every 48 minutes would...
It's more than 9 times a day, I can tell you that much.
Would be about... Yeah, 9 times a day would be once every 160 minutes. Not every... It's like... I don't think those are even real. Like, you made those things up. I'm pretty sure.
Straight out of their ass.
Well,
yes.
you have to have, because they don't. You have to have made up at least 3 of the 4.
And it's on its face. If you're paying any attention at all, you're just like, wait a minute. And this is the first foot forward in Den of Thieves. This is the first thing they show you.
Right. It's just it is insane. And again, but it's perfect for what this movie is, which is a stupid sloppier heat, and man, and it's got the gunfights that can stand with heats. Though I'll give it that.
I don't know if they can stand with heats. They're good gunfights. But, I mean, come on, it's solid. It's an entertaining movie. I didn't love it.
Nothing stands with heat, okay, but it's in the top tier of post-heat machine gun battles.
For movies of this tier and intelligence level, they're good. They're very good for this size of film. You know, a movie starring Gerard Butler and 50 Cent. This is really as good as the action's going to get. So take that as you will.
Yeah. And then Den of Thieves 2.
I didn't get to this. I wanted to. Okay. I was curious after the way the film ended. And, I mean, it had also seemed to have departed Michael Mann land completely, though.
That's what I was going to say. We don't have to talk about it much because it has left heat behind, and now we're in, I don't know, To Catch a Thief or something territory. It is not as good as the first movie. It's doing a more elaborate. It's a jewel heist in the Riviera of France, as opposed to bank robberies in downtown LA. So there's a little less room for gun battles. They still make some space for them, but unfortunately, it also feels compelled to sort of like include like, oh, we're now part of the Den of Thieves formula is this like twist at the end that you can kind of see coming in is not. It's the least, once again, the least compelling part of it to me.
Should I check it out? I mean, it might be fun, right?
I think it depends on how much affection you have for Gerard Butler in that characterization. That's
I did like him. I liked him. I liked what an asshole he was about his marriage falling apart. That was really fun. I don't know if it's a choice between watching Den of Thieves 2 Pantera or Jason Statham in The Beekeeper. What should
definitely
I do?
it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Definitely done.
Okay. Fair enough. Got it. Well, then I probably will. You know, over the holidays, I will manage to get through Pantera, I think.
But I think like you would be better off, you know, if you're on Netflix already for the Den of Thieves,
right? You
could go over to Triple Frontier.
Oh,
and that gives you more man flavoring. It's an interesting, weirdly structured movie again. I can't figure out if it's any good. I don't know if I like it or not. But
I haven't seen this, but my wife watched it because Pedro Pascal was in it, and she explained the plot to me as being really weird and surprising, and walked me through it and was like, "Yeah, you're right. That is pretty weird and surprising." Now I know what happens. I don't know if I'm going to check it out, but
yeah, it's so. I mean, again, spoilers, I guess. It is about a crew of special forces guys played by just a team of 20 teens, movie star hunks, and they invade the compound of a drug lord and rob him. And great, it's a good heist. The first half of the movie, I think, is the best half. And then the back half, their sort of getaway helicopter goes down because they took too much money with them.
That's fun.
And then it becomes a thing where they have to sort of hike their stolen loot through the Andes Mountains. And it becomes like, on paper, shifts from being a Michael Mann Heat-ish thing to then becoming the Wages of Fear in the second half.
Ooh.
That's a really good idea, but the survival stuff in the second half is just not as good as the crime stuff. And I'm not sure what exactly I want more out of that, but I want a little something more from that part.
Well, that sounds pretty good, actually. Maybe I will check that out. I don't know. There is a nice kind of like cushion in the winter, when you can't really go out, when it's really nice to stay home and watch middling action films. So that's kind of something I tend to do in the Januaries and Februaries of the year. So maybe it'll come up then.
You might also find the extra layer of fascination that I do. Again, not knowing if it works, but like this script makes strange decisions.
Yeah.
It's I believe like the American debut of Adria Arjona, who's great. In other things.
That's
kind of an underserved
Hitman
role
and
here.
Andor, right? Yeah.
Yes. Really great in Hitman and great on Andor. In this one, you really are left scratching your head as to what the movie was doing with her. like what? It's not. I mean, and again, we have kind of movie brain because we see so many of them that just any deviation is sort of inherently more interesting to us. Maybe even if it's not functional fully. But
right, I do enjoy that. Yes.
What's another good? Well, a great one. Do you think of Sicario as being a Mann ripoff?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. In fact, I think most Taylor Sheridan things, the films at least, have a foot in there. Hell and High Water, certainly. And even Wind River a little bit as well. I mean, the TV shows I'm not as well versed in. I don't think that's their vibe. From what I understand, they're more like Dallas, kind of soap opera-y kind of silliness. I don't know. That's dismissive,
my
perhaps.
My secondhand impression of them is similar to that. I can't disprove it because I haven't watched them.
But even I don't. I mean, obviously, there is a frontier aspect to Taylor Sheridan films. There's often deserts and mountains and things like that does not particularly square well with the Michael Mann crime film. But I think the characters...
Mann stuff's so urban.
Yeah, exactly. But the characters, I feel, are of a piece, And even when when they have less discipline, they tend to have a code. They tend to have, a soulfulness and even just a aesthetic style as often as not. That reminds me of Mann. Like the Chris Pine and Ben Foster in Hell and High Water, I think are Mann protagonists.
Yeah, Hell and High Water is an interesting one. That's a really good movie. It didn't jump to my mind as a Michael Mann thing. I think just because it's got the flavor of the Western, putting a cowboy hat on the cop and having played by Jeff Bridges differentiates him from Al Pacino and Heat so much. Well, but it is very much doing that, equal-ish rooting interest on both sides of the law thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the most Mannish, although the brothers feel like they're there. But it is it's that dual protagonist thing that really sets that one up. I think Sicario probably the most, though.
Well, Sicario.
Everyone's such a professional in Sicario.
Yeah, that's what it is, and they really are the best. And the Benicio character is so committed to his mission, and
he's the guy.
Very good at it.
To the bitter end. That's a boy. The end of that film is memorable.
That movie is quite a ride.
Yeah, that's actually one I'm just like, I watched it the once and I was like, that was excellent. I'm probably never going to watch this film again, though. That was a tough one.
I did finally, it like a year ago, I watched it again. And part 2, The Day of the Soldado. Did you ever watch that one?
I did. It's not very good.
See, that's what everybody says. I thought that one was really good.
It has some
I
stuff.
thought it was almost as good as the first one was my opinion, but everybody agrees with you.
There's some things that work, I mean, Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin are fine people to set your drug war movie, to star in that, and they're both still good in it. The things they have the characters do are less interesting, I think, and I mean, you could almost just call them new characters in a lot of ways. It has its stuff. I remember the border crossing in Juarez is really good in that film.
And the second one?
Yeah, and the second one. It is the second one, right?
The one, I think, are they in Juarez or are they in like Tijuana? No, they're in Juarez. Yeah, no, the one where they had the big shootout on the highway is the first one.
Yeah. Oh, well, shit. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Well,
There's some good action in the second
maybe
one.
they blended together in my head a little bit, but
There was another sort of like ambush, but it's scene, but it's kind of in a more desolate, rural stretch of highway. It's not like in the middle.
I was thinking of the
border
highway
crossing.
one.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the border crossing highway, but there is that moment when they go into Juarez and there's just bodies hanging from a freeway overpass and shit. It's just very overblown. It's good stuff. Not very Michael Mannish, but still striking.
No, but that's some of your other top tier machine gun work outside of the man work. Yeah, I don't know. I like the second one. I think it's one of the better executed sort of Mandalorian escort a cute child around gruff guy.
It's just like after we've seen what that guy does, it feels a little hollow, honestly.
Well, no, I think that's what makes it interesting.
Like
with Wolverine, I know Hugh Jackman is never like going to hurt this kid.
Right.
We know that's in Benicio's wheelhouse. He could decide that. Although perhaps it's like, well, it's not much of a character arc if he just does that, but whatever. That's
you end that movie even with all the stuff he does with at least grudging respect for Benicio del Toro. Sicario, I'm talking about. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's like, well, you got it done, man. Well, shit, kind of like, even as the movie like leaves Emily Blunt behind, she's also kind of doing a Michael Mann thing, and the way it's structured around her is, it's not, there's no like thing you can compare that to in a Michael Mann film off the top of my head, but it is striking and really, really incredible bit of structural writing for the film. Even the Daniel Kaluuya character has man vibes. He's on top of his shit and knows what he's doing in an appealing way. Good ass movie, Sicario.
That reminds me of another movie that I watched for this, starring Daniel Kaluuya, where he is the standout, which is Widows. Steve McQueen's.
Right. Yeah.
Had
you seen it before? Ladies
did a heist. Yeah, I saw it around when it came out. And kind of forgot about it, which I then rewatched it and was like, why did I forget about this? This is like, it's a great modern Chicago movie for one. And I tend to love those. And holy shit, what a cast that movie has.
Great cast.
You got the limiter, Viola Davis, Carrie Coon is really underused in it, unfortunately. Michelle Rodriguez, Elizabeth Debicki, and Cynthia Erivo.
Right.
That's like a strong core. But for the villains and like the supporting cast, you also get Brian Tyree Henry and Daniel Kaluuya, Colin Farrell and Robert Duvall, Garrett Dillahunt, John Bernthal, Liam Neeson's,
yeah,
Steve the Drunk from Deadwood, and of course America's favorite Kevin J. O'Connor.
Oh man, yeah. I forgot a handful of those guys are in there, but yeah, that's right. There's some wonderful stuff top to bottom in that film. It's also a surprising movie. I didn't see where that was going at all.
No, it is.
Who made that? It's
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen, right? Yeah,
But I guess it's a remake of like a British miniseries, which you kind of feel. Oh yeah, this does feel cut down at parts. Like the Carrie Coon character feels like most of that performance must be on the cutting room floor somewhere.
I want the film version of it though. I think that's fine. Yeah. I think that's great. And it's got some real juice to it in the twists and turns, but it is also probably really notable in that love Michael Mann, not a lot of really great roles for women. There's a few exceptions, but he doesn't do that sort of thing with women very much. He doesn't seem to have much insight into them or want to put
it is the manosphere.
Yeah. It is very much not a thing that he tends to cover, and he certainly doesn't have them doing the things they do in Widows.
Right, but Widows has a deep interest in the motivations of the criminals and the corrupt politicians, and that like no one wants to do crime here just to have a big pile of money. Mm-hmm. They want it because they have a whole life mapped out that it's going to enable them, and that is very Michael Mann.
Yes,
it's James Caan's vision board from Thief. And the filmmaking is very striking. It's not like directly emulating Michael Mann, but the opening chase is sort of like it opens in media res, this kind of heist gone wrong, and that's good. But I mean, the standout moment of filmmaking is there's a whole conversation that Colin Farrell's having with his wife in the car, but we never see them because we're watching like the outside of the car as it drives in real time from this poor neighborhood where he's campaigning to this sort of like Tony neighborhood, in Hyde Park, right where next door where he actually lives. And it is just it's a thing that you can't, it could pull you out of the movie, I suppose, because you can't miss what a choice it is. But it's not something you'd see a lot of filmmakers attempt. And it's memorable for that.
That's one of those sneaky great Colin Farrell performances, if I recall. Like he's, nowhere near the lead of the film, but it's just such great presence. We have to do a Colin Farrell episode one of these days.
He is an interesting
hell of a career.
Figure.
Hell of a career.
Made some choices in his career.
And a really, really huge body of work at this point. Like, that guy's been in like 50 movies that I've seen, it feels like. And all kinds of movies, all kinds of roles. He's still playing like...
his mains, his sort of time when he was pushed as the next big thing. And then, as he reached middle age, decided he only wanted to work with like Yorgos Lanthimos and... goddamn Bruges guy. I want to
McDonough. Yeah.
Neil McDonough. Yeah.
Martin.
I wanted to say Shanley, and I knew that wasn't right.
Neil McDonough is the sort of he's Quarles from Justified. He's an actor.
Yes, of course.
But
no, I was gonna say a different Irish guy, but it doesn't matter. He's really good in this. He's kind of overshadowed because Kaluuya's villain performance. Kaluuya's doing such a pure villain performance, like a heavy, and he's really great at.
It's like a Willem Dafoe villain in that. He's really terrific. Yeah.
Is Daniel Kaluuya the Willem Dafoe of the 21st century? That's something we can investigate over time.
So pretty. I don't think so. Well, I guess Dafoe was too. He's pretty. He's quite pretty in Live and Die in L.A. in that frightening way.
When he was young, he was very pretty, but it was also that razor's edge where you could contort it into demonic so easily.
Right. Always one of his gifts. All right. Okay, so we've gone through quite a few here.
The Town? More for certain. The Town, yeah, man. I watched this recently. We were talking about Hell or High Water earlier. I think like Ben Foster's character in that is one of the best sort of, loose cannon best friend brothers. Fuck up brothers. But Jeremy Renner in The Town might be the best. Overall. It's
the best Jeremy Renner performance.
It's like De Niro and Mean Streets and Jeremy Renner in this for me.
It's I don't know. Is Worm from Rounders qualify for that?
Yeah, but it's not enough of a crime movie.
Right. Okay.
They sit at the same table. That's all those characters. It's a messy table. Things don't go well there. But.
This is Renner's best work, I think, to this day.
Yeah.
This was his Oscar nomination, in fact.
I think he had already won for Hurt Locker. Yeah.
Did he win for Hurt Locker? My goodness. Okay. Well,
I don't remember, but
the
Hurt Locker won, and he was nominated. I think he won. Did he win for this one?
No.
These are look upable. Doesn't matter. We don't care if people actually win or saying these are both really good performances.
Yeah, this is when, like, on the strength of this and Hurt Locker, he starred in a bunch of movies, many of which didn't work. But he got Hawkeye, which kept him afloat up to this day.
Yeah.
And he earned every bit of it in The Town. It's a great performance. Everyone's pretty great, but he's kind of the obvious standout, I guess.
It's just so doing heat.
Yeah.
But in a way that I guess I think Ben Affleck's an excellent filmmaker, and just putting it in Boston, he gets the Boston flavor in there so much that it feels just not just legally distinct from Heat, but not like it's retreading as much as it actually is. Like structurally, the high, like the jobs come at the exact same time and have basically the same results.
Well, I mean, it is doing a different thing in that, like, John Hamm as the cop is terrific, and he has that one excellent scene, but he's not really a co-lead of the film by any means. He is a foil.
Yes, that's the way where it can't stand up to Heat because it is unbalanced in that way. Your rooting interests are with the crooks entirely in this movie, which makes it, I guess, a little more conventional in some ways. And I think that's the thing. This is also a movie that was brutally hacked down from, I guess, the original. The first cut was close to 4 hours, and then he had like a 2 hour 50-minute cut that
I'd like
the
to see
studio
that
then
one.
made him cut 45 more minutes out of.
I'll watch the 250 version of The Town, please. That sounds good.
Yeah, I would absolutely do it. I would spend more time with Pete Postlethwaite and the rest of the crew. And
last role, I believe, right?
yeah,
he's dying when he makes this film, but man,
you can see that.
Oh yeah, but it makes him interesting too.
Yes,
he's so good in this. It's a nice one to go out on.
Yeah. I mean, that's again, it's a little. That role and the John Hamm role are slighter than their Heat equivalents would be.
Certainly, maybe not in the 250 version. You know.
Yeah, exactly. But it gets you more Renner and Affleck interacting. That's great. I don't understand how nobody but Ben Affleck apparently has used the like more heavy set driver guy here, who's in Gone Baby Gone and this as the like just very authentic Boston lower class guy. He strikes me as like the Irish American version of Danny Trejo. Like this guy is so authentic and just has screen presence, and then has not parlayed that into a career like Trejo does. But
yeah, that's a shame. Well, it's fine. He's fine. I'm sure he'll be in more Affleck movies. He's probably in that movie about the Klan that Affleck made, which wasn't very good. Live by Night, I think.
Never saw that one.
Not good. But most of Affleck's movies are good, and most of them are pretty man-inflected, I would say. You know, none more so than The Town, because there's the obvious.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, the Heat comparison. But I'd say Gone Baby Gone and Argo both have Michael Mann aspects and qualities to them, just in the way he stages things and the way he approaches his characters.
Yeah, well, I mean, the crew from The Town are...
Yeah, that's the most.
They're some of the few movie criminals that Neil McCauley might actually respect.
Mm-hmm. Well, Affleck.
Less so Renner, but yeah, but Affleck, yes.
Right. That's good. That's true. Argo feels like a script that he could have made, though, that Michael Mann could have done. I mean, I guess it would have been a little less pleased with Hollywood, maybe.
Yeah, it would.
But
it would have
staging,
less humor to it.
Right.
But,
and that's Affleck is widely and correctly regarded as a very good director. What has he been up to lately? That he's not behind the camera anymore. He's been like cleaning up and just kind of reestablishing a baseline acting career, I suppose. You know, after getting stuck as Batman and in a some sort of drug spiral, I guess. But he hasn't directed anything forever, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm hung up on Argo now, thinking that it would be interesting to see a Michael Mann version of that movie. You could also see a very different version of it where it appealed to Tarantino.
Oh, totally.
And
a very different.
And that's way more pleased. Yes, I mean, it is. I would never would have thought of Argo as like an interesting sort of script that you could move from director to director and have it be a real like Rorschach test thing. But
actually, that is actually, you know what? I could see the Spielberg version. Mm-hmm. I mean, Scorsese.
That's probably closest to the one we have, to the Affleck version, I guess.
I don't know. I think the Mann version is the closest to Affleck, actually, if you hand it to him. It's not as I don't know. I guess the Goodman, Alan Arkin stuff is pretty Spielbergy when it comes down to it. But
whatever, we're getting sidetracked, I guess. That's not the Michael Mann. The Town is the Michael Mann ripoff. I mean, you know the sort of the original ending for it?
The Town?
Yes.
No. I mean, it feels like the right ending.
Well, originally, he goes to kill Postlethwaite after everything's gone tits up, and he gets shot in the process. It's actually kind of weirdly shot, where it does look like Postlethwaite's shooting him at him from very close range, and he just misses in the theatrical cut. The original, he took a bullet there and ends up going to see Rebecca Hall, his love interest, and dying in her arms with the cops around. And that, I mean, would be the exact same resolution as Heat. They say...
Yeah, that's spot on, right?
they say that the studio asked him to change it because audiences didn't like it. But I wonder if he was more open to it. He was like, well, maybe the happy ending is a little bit bullshitty, but at least it differentiates it from Heat a little bit.
Well, it's not a happy ending exactly. Is I think what works about the ending of The Town is that he does get away. He's got money and he's in his house, but Jeremy Renner's dead. He left the girl. He left everything behind. He's basically starting over. And I guess he got away with it, but he has kind of he has no personality. He has no person anymore. He's not he kind of spent everything to do it
in crime movie terms.
Yeah, he got away.
He dodged the bullet. He dodged jail.
Right.
He got away. He made it to the beach, where they're all gonna live their lives happily ever after. So I take your point. It is in there that it's not totally happy for him, but by the standard that Heat sets up for him.
Sure, right.
For Neil McCauley or Cruise's character in Collateral, he makes a pretty clean getaway, right. Which I think is fine. Like that probably does make it lesser than Heat in some ways, but I don't mind there being just some crime movies that do have that ending.
I agree.
It doesn't have to. I don't want it to be totally a given that they're gonna go down the hail of bullets.
Yeah. I think that is nice to have the variety, and because that movie exists, you don't know how these things are always going to plan out. It could really go either way when you see a movie about thieves, generally speaking, unless it's like overtly fun or cute. Anything that takes it seriously, there is an open question of how it's going to resolve, which is what makes the crime film kind of fun. In a sense, it's not as prescribed as the buddy cop film would be, for example. Right. Although I don't know, could we actually credit Michael Mann on that? I mean, even Thief, he gets away. It kind of has The Town has the Thief ending a little bit.
I mean, I wouldn't. Yes, it is Thief. I guess I wouldn't necessarily call him the originator of it. No, but he is defined it for a generation of filmmakers, I think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like that, Kubrick movies end that way. Most, it's the crime movie structure.
There are tiny moments in The Town that do, I think, they're so well observed that they elevate the whole thing in a way that I think of as part of Michael Mann style too.
Yeah.
There are there's one of the most iconic things in Heat to me is the diner scene toward the beginning when the guy at the next booth looks up because they're making a commotion, and Sizemore just tilts his head over and stares him down until he looks back at his paper.
One of the best scenes ever, yes.
Yes, just one of the best shots ever. And the thing where they've made their getaway and they're switching cars and they jump out in their costumes with their assault rifles and look over and there's just a cop sitting in a cruiser right there, and the cop just slowly looks away from them. It's like, I'm not fucking with you guys. Like that feels like the same type of thing.
That's a great moment, man. I mean, the nun. I
remember Renner's death is so memorable to me too.
Of course,
grabbing the discarded soda off the ground to take a sip of before he takes all the bullets is such a great just character moment.
Good filmed. So how about Ronin? Let's talk about Ronin.
Ronin is all about professionals, man.
Yeah.
The disdain for Sean Bean's unprofessionalism.
It's so good.
The movie dislikes him more than it likes Stellan Skarsgård's outright villainy, and that feels very Michael Mann to me.
Oh, Stellan Skarsgård is quite professional in his villainy. He's got his shit together.
Yeah.
Sean Bean does not, and he is summarily dismissed from the film about 15 minutes in. Doesn't even come back. Doesn't even get killed.
It's over 30 minutes. He gets a couple of there's the
right. Okay, 30 minutes.
It is like the first act, but it's longer than you might think. And yeah, it is notable that he is dismissed early and does not return in the third act to do anything. You could probably expect.
Yeah, the boss just hey, here's your money for your time. Now fuck off, and that's it for him. It's great.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that feels very Mann to me. It's the concern with employers. Who's everybody working for? Is their compensation correct? Are you labor or are you management? Yeah.
Yes.
It's asking people. That's very similar to to Mann's preoccupation with criminals that are, truly self-employed. And the view working for the man is the lowest circle of hell.
I rewatched this last night, as a matter of fact, and I'd seen it so many times I didn't need to, but I just wanted to. It's been long enough. Not a bit aged, man. This thing is just I think Ronin is a masterpiece. I think it is a fantastic film, and
I think it's one tick below masterpiece.
I'll allow for that because it's limited in scale and scope, and it is very consciously kind of work a day in a lot of facets.
It is, and then De Niro will, stand up through a sunroof and fire a bazooka at a moving car.
That's the good shit, though.
But yeah, I think that there's two areas I can cite as possible flaws here. One, I'm less convinced the first one is a flaw, is that the movie might be a touch too withholding, because it's withholding the main character's motivations and his emotions, which is the point. But it's also withholding about the nature of the MacGuffin. And the case
we don't. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
And it's also playing games of whether is the ultimate villain going to be Stellan Skarsgård, or is it his Russian contact, or is it Jonathan Pryce? There's a lot of different abstractions in different parts of the movie at the same time that can move things maybe a touch past cool and into cult.
I suppose. I don't know. I think it's I love all that about it. Once again, movie brain stuff here. This zigs and zags in ways you don't expect. Even as students of crime films, this movie kind of surprises you top to bottom on what's going to happen. I mean, you expect some of the big things, there'll be betrayals and double crosses and, shifting allegiances and things. But the final reveal, it really works for me, man. I think it's fantastic. Just this cast of character actors, guys between 40 and 50 in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
You can't beat this one, man. This is De Niro, Sean Bean, Jean Reno, Stellan Skarsgård, Jonathan Pryce, a bunch of other good faces as well. Natasha McElhone is a good choice in there too, and then that Michael Lonsdale scene with the with his Warhammer table of samurai. That's no less than 3 Bond villains, by the way.
Who is that? And I'm blanking now on the figure skater, like the real Katarina Witt. I think. Yeah, there you go. That's all the Katarina Witt you could ask for in a 90s crime movie. Okay, warm is never a word you would use to describe Michael Mann movies.
No,
but it is sort of the difference between Mann and Mamet. I feel like because
Mamet wrote Ronin, so yeah,
he wrote Ronin and wrote and directed Spartan, which is similarly kind of reserved and. Mamet isn't going to include genuine romance in his movies. The Mann stuff, he said it's a bit of a decision for his characters to fall in love, but but I think he is sincere about it. And
well, I mean, in Ronin, they decide he has that moment and decides not to fall in love, essentially.
Right.
He's too.
And some of the criticisms I was laying out are what people about Ronin being maybe a bit too abstracted and confusing for its own good. People will lob that same stuff at Miami Vice, the movie.
Oh, for certain. Yeah.
But I feel what Sonny Crockett's feeling in that movie, even if you can't always follow what the fuck's actually going on. And what he's feeling is romantic longing, too, in a way that, is not.
I would say the emotional stakes in Ronin are pretty clear. As the minutia of who works for what and such. That's a little fuzzy intentionally in the film. But ultimately they are all there on the job. Everyone is working. I mean, at a very high level, but they're all jobbers essentially.
But also, and ultimately, the only genuine relationship in the movie is between De Niro and Jean Reno,
and that's good though. It's such a good.
Yes,
it's so cool that it is this sort of unspoken friendship that forms between them over the course of the film, and it's spoken little, I guess, but they're terse guys, so not too much, and they seem to enjoy each other's company as actors, which is nice. They have real good chemistry, and
they respect each other's professionalism. That's the man of it all.
And Skarsgård is a great psychopath. I got to say, the psychopath glasses they've got him in too. They're good. They're really cool. This big old steel frames. Yeah.
We know we're everybody has caught up to how great Stellan Skarsgård is. What a value add he is to your movie, kind of regardless of whether it's Good Will Hunting or Ronin.
Big resurgence,
the
man.
girl with a dragon tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah, Dune. He's probably getting an Oscar nomination this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a great villain. It turns out he's great at other stuff too. So the one area where Ronin, I think, has a genuine weakness is that, where it doesn't stand up with Mann is that the score is bad.
Yeah,
Michael Mann has his Tangerine Dream flavored signature sound.
Yeah, it could really use a nice score. That would be okay.
Yeah. Even when you get the audio slave needle drops in the later ones, like those are distinctive in a way that Ronin's got a very off the rack action movie music.
You're not wrong.
That gives it no character.
It has Euro vibes. Does that count for nothing?
Oh no, it counts for something. That's part of what makes it great.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the score is, unfortunately, it's letting the movie down.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Still great though. Okay, so I don't know. We've talked about the crime movies. Obviously that's the association most people have with Michael Mann. That's the thing that is going to lend cultural cachet to any project that is referencing him specifically. And all these films seem to be a little bit devised in the shadow of things like Heat and Miami Vice and such. That's what we're talking about so far. He's made other movies though. He's made those couple of biopics. I mean, obviously Ferrari is not going to have inspired anything at this point, but Ali is out there, and he's made Last of the Mohicans, which, of course, as we've said, one of the greatest period films ever made, one of the greatest historical epics of all time. Kind of undersung in that respect, but undeniable, according to us.
Yeah, well, I think it's somewhat deniable in that its influence is not very widely felt, unfortunately. Like it's my favorite movie ever. I love it, but I think after it came out, its thunder was stolen by Dances with Wolves on one hand, and then I think Braveheart on another kind of pushed things into a pulpier direction. So there's the prestige vein; it got overshadowed, and then in the pulpier vein, your Mel Gibson led bloody action epics. You really the only direct descendant of Last of the Mohicans that I see is Master and Commander.
Yeah, Far Side of the World, which is also one of the greatest historical epics ever made.
Indeed.
Arguably the greatest, depending on your attitude or personal choice. I might be that for me. I don't know. It's a tough one. I kind of love this genre in general. So it's hard to pick a favorite in a lot of cases, but Mohicans and Master and Commander are certainly contenders. And, it kind of doesn't matter. I just love them. I just, watch them over and over and over again. What is it that makes Master and Commander a descendant of Mohicans? I mean, it's a little esoteric. It
is focused on a less glamorous or glamorized sort of pocket of world history that, there's entire genres about the American West.
Right.
But the Revolutionary War, and especially the French and Indian
War. Shit, yeah. Name another French-Indian War movie.
Exactly. I mean, I could do the earlier versions of Last of the Mohicans, perhaps.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. The Southern Hemisphere naval aspect of the Napoleonic Wars is also not very well represented on film. And it's a dedication to getting the sort of the tools and the work right. The dedication to detail there. They're less bloody than, Braveheart or The Patriot. But
there's blood.
But they're a bit more ruthless.
Yeah.
They're unflinching with the violence and the death.
I mean, this isn't necessarily a Mohicans thing, but it is notable that Master and Commander is full of fucking professionals doing their job too. These guys, know what they're about, know how to live by a code, and act accordingly.
The one guy who's not the best at his job has to fucking walk off into the sea.
Right, yeah.
And everybody's kind of like, oh, I mean, that's
happens.
A shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame that he had to do that, but I guess he did. So,
and I mean, the Paul Bettany character, the scientist, has a different code, but it is no less strict and no less structured for that. Like there's other things he has that he prioritizes for his discipline, And there's a negotiation between that and the needs of the boat. It's a little art versus commerce coded, a little bit.
Yes. But there's also no question that he is an excellent surgeon.
Oh, yeah.
We know he's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's also worth noting just that there is Last Mohican's obviously a point of fascination, that period for Mann. He says that's his childhood. He has a love of that era of history. I think without ever hearing him speak on the matter or having any direct evidence of this beyond the film he made, that's got to apply to Peter Weir as well for this era of naval warfare. It's so exacting and loving in its depiction of the minutia of daily life on a boat at sea.
Right.
And the culture that develops there and the things that they do to pass the time and the tools they use day to day. It just feels so deliberate and so, in process based, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. I'd say there are some people of our age bracket, our demographic, that say Master and Commander is like the best movie of the century, and that it's sort of the ultimate dad movie in some ways.
I am sympathetic to this point of view, yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fight anybody about it. I don't love it as much as I love Last Mohicans. I think there are some little things that hold back for me. One, like Last Mohicans has an excellent villain performance.
Sure does.
And the villainy is very abstract. They're on a different boat that we don't get to actually encounter the antagonist of that Master and Commander ever.
You get the sense it's just a mirror image of Crow.
Yes, very much so.
It's essentially him just on a different boat with his own team of people, and they're direct correlations. But because we're stuck on this one boat, we're never going to see him.
Crow is very good in this movie.
Yeah.
I kind of want somebody more British. I want a very, very British person there. And Crow is Australian, obviously. And so he's not doing a bad job. He's great. Bettany, I think, is somebody almost like Stellan Skarsgård. And people are gradually waking up to just how great he is in any context you drop him into.
Mm-hmm.
But this was, I think, a lot of people's introduction to him, probably American audiences even.
Right.
And he is so great. And I just kind of, if he was up against paired up with a proper Shakespearean actor there, I think this might be even better for me.
Who do you like for it though? I mean, who could
I don't
carry
know exactly.
that?
Well, because I have to throw myself back to 2003 now. So it's
I mean,
somebody
Ray
who's now
Fiennes
60, but
pull that sort of thing off. But I don't know. There's this. Crow has an Oliver Reed quality to him that I think is not reproducible in a lot of people. Maybe Oliver Reed in 1975 would have been perfect, but I like the size of him. I like that. He's starting to get heavy at this point in his career, and I think that really works for Captain Aubrey. And yeah, he has to be the leader of this boat. First off, so
can you give me a Sean Bean?
Well,
not quite British, but
he probably
closer.
He played Sharp in the long running series on television, which is essentially this character in Napoleonic Wars, I believe.
Yes, I've never seen those. I'm vaguely aware of them. Probably is too close for that. Okay.
Well, I mean, he could probably do it too. Is the point? You do need a kind of a massive star kind of thing to do this character properly. I would say, this is a star role.
Certainly.
And Crow has that in spades. I don't know if Bean does, but yeah, I'm sure he'd be good in it. No question.
Well, it's a very good movie. Again, it's people. Maybe we're stretching what a Mann ripoff is here because people don't necessarily tie it to Last of the Mohicans. Even and then as another layer, they don't necessarily think of Last of the Mohicans when they think of Michael Mann. So,
well, I mean, we're just having a thought exercise here.
Yeah.
Mohicans is an incredibly notable film, I think, certainly for us. But we're not alone there, and it certainly has to have had some cultural resonance. Put out a thing like that, it's going to inspire something. That's just the one I can point to most. But it's hell, probably Ridley Scott historical epics have been in some fashion inspired by Last of the Mohicans. Even if he was doing them before. Kingdom of Heaven probably's got some in there. It's just you try to make these connections. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, but again, he just with the biopics, he doesn't own the historical epic space the way he does. That Heat looms so large in the crime movie canon that everybody, even if they're not ripping it off, they're aware of when they're touching on it and when they're deviating from it. It's it's a huge, touchstone. Of the movies you talked about, is there one that strikes you, or one or two that strike you as the real pure Michael Mann? They could stand neck and neck with the originals or the inspiration.
I mean, like you said, most of these are pretty damn good. To Live and Die in L.A. is very Michael Mann. Like we said, could have been made by him, but I mean, I think Ronin is the one that really, really strikes me as scratching the man itch in a lot of ways. I mean, it has this whole, excellent car chase thing. It's not really a Michael Mann trademark as well that it has on offer, but the way the characters behave in that film strikes me as the most Mann of any of these other ones.
Yeah, I guess so. Probably more so than Drive. Like, even though there are those similarities, but Mann characters they can be terse, but they are articulate when they need to be and decide to be.
I mean, Ronin is also...
To Live and Die in LA is probably the one.
Mm-hmm. Ronin is also drafting on Heat a little bit, just in that, it's De Niro like 2 years later. It's kind of the end of the road for his middle-aged action star run. So, he's carrying some Neil McCauley with him into it, and that helps.
It's not like that character could be Neil McCauley, but the performance, you feel like he didn't necessarily dig deep into that character. He's like, oh, I can just do, like, I've already done the work for this one. I can just bring all the McCauley stuff over.
A little bit.
It's like, what if that guy had a government job instead of being a self-employed bank robber? Are there any movies that are outside of the crime genre, but you do feel like have the Michael Mann soul to them? The one you mentioned earlier was Rounders, and that does strike me as that is about these, being really good at something and committed to it, and it costing, your domestic life falling apart because you are committed to your craft.
I think a lot of gambling movies probably would fall into that category.
Well, a lot of gambling movies are more about compulsion. Uncut Gems is not a Michael Mann movie.
No.
Regard.
Hard Eight is, though. Anyone who has a discipline. The Card Counter, the Oscar Isaac movie from a few years back.
Oh, yeah, that Paul Schrader one.
Yeah, that has some qualities of it, Certainly about a guy who's good at what he does and, has a has a task and a mission that he's on, that he's using it towards. I don't know.
Yes, he does have that sort of monk-like discipline about it, too.
I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, we didn't bring it up for this yet, but it's Sinne lineage, perhaps. I don't know. It's Schrader's its own kind of specific thing as well. There.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking for something that reminded me of The Keep, and I came up empty.
Overlord, I guess we talked about in the Carpenter episode.
Maybe a little, Overlord, right? But that's a Carpenter movie, not a Mann film. For God's sakes, feels nothing like him. But it's just some plot details, I suppose. Yes. I don't know. Like, I think we mostly covered it here. I wasn't able to really come up with a good Ali reference as either. I not a big biopic fan, frankly.
No, but again, what I'm more looking for is less the edges of Hill's filmography. It's more like, did we see these themes transposed into different genres ever? And I think what I'm finding with Mann, I have less of those examples, partly because his themes have been suffused into the whole genre so much that the purebred ripoffs, actually, some of them do channel him so completely that you don't have to go outside of the genre to find it.
Any bank robber movie is going to have some heat in it at this point. It's just foundational text at this point. You can't get away from it. Everything Pacino did specifically for the next 15 years has a little Vincent Hanna in it.
Oh, for sure.
Or I don't know. And a little bit of his Scent of a Woman character as well. Like he just kind of got stuck in a mode for a bit. It's that, like, Jeff Bridges couldn't stop playing Rooster Cogburn for a decade.
He's still got some Rooster in Hell or High Water.
Very much. But so, like, the difference between that, though, and what Pacino did is, like, very few of those characters had any discipline to them. Right. I mean, if De Niro's just kind of drafting a little off of a Macaulay and Heat, then Pacino is doing full on just Vincent Hanna shit for 10 years. and never to as good effect, you know, and a lot of shitty, cheap films, in fact. I don't know, can we mention Righteous Kill, the next time De Niro and Pacino worked together, a shitty cop movie that no one remembers?
We can mention it, but you just said everything that I know about it. So.
Yeah, same here. I haven't seen it. And, you know, The Irishman has no Michael Mann quality to it per se.
No, Scorsese's his own.
Yeah.
He's biting his own style in The Irishman.
I don't know, man. I think that mostly covers it then. I was wondering if Crimson Tide would count, but not really. I do kind of wish Michael Mann had done a submarine movie. It seems like something he would have a neat way of approaching.
Yeah. He's not as big on boats.
Not a boat
got
guy.
the boat stuff locked down pretty tight, I think.
If it's not a go fast boat, he doesn't give a shit.
Yes, the cigarette boats. That's about his. Even that aren't as in Miami Vice as much as you might expect.
No,
from the marketing.
Yeah.
But anyway, great director. His crime movies are fun.
They sure are.
That's my takeaway.
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun.
Let's hope Heat 2 does materialize. It sounds like it's moving forward, and then we can get to talk about all this stuff again. A film I still don't know how they're going to get that to work, but it
doesn't seem like it could possibly work. But I'm fascinated to see them try.
I mean, maybe that's one for a streaming service. Although I don't want that. I really don't want that. I want a fucking movie. Make a real movie. They say DiCaprio is going to star in it. I don't really get that. He's way too old to play Christian Hurless, which I could see him doing 20 years ago, maybe.
I mean, the weird thing about Heat 2 is you do have to cover like 15 years of the character's life from the prequel stuff to the sequel stuff. So maybe he's not too old to do the later stuff, but he's definitely too old to do the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is Adam Driver still attached to it?
I mean, DiCaprio is the only one who's officially attached, but it seems to be that most people have decided that Adam Driver is going to play Macaulay in that. We'll see if that materializes, but he's the right guy. I mean, you know, that's a good choice.
Yes, he's definitely the right guy for that. I'm trying to, could DiCaprio be Vincent Hanna?
I don't want that. There are rumors of Oscar Isaac, and I see that a lot more.
Oh. Yeah, definitely. I mean, physically, that's a better match, but I'm not sure that's the most important thing. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about Heat 2 more later on.
One hopes. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for listening. This has been the final version of Mann-Splaining that we're going to have, and next up we're going to return to the Coen Brothers at some point in the near future. Talk about another crop of pretty good movies, I think, that have been inspired by them.
Yeah, probably more up and down there, but we'll see.
Definitely more up and down, but there's some great ones.
Yeah. Meantime, drop us a review. It's a very low effort thing to do that helps us out a little bit. Or if you were really intensely committed to your craft, you can write out a couple of sentences into your review.
Yeah.
Do the star rating.
The star rating, we've got some good star ratings, and that's appreciated. We've only got the one review. A nice little review. That'd be good. You know? Hey, why not? All right. And thank you for being, I don't know if you're loyal at all. Maybe this is the first episode you've heard. Either way, thank you for listening.
Yeah. And go watch Last of the Weekend. It's fine.
I just want to talk to you about good life.